Hello, everybody. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Today, I'm really excited. I have Ariana Falerni of arianafalerni.com. She does amazing wall templates. She's a photographer herself. She's going to tell us the story of why she started this business and why she went the next step and created a nice iOS app for your iPad. And now she's also got good news. She's launching for Android as well. We're going to talk today about why it's so important for you to show your clients the products you're going to sell them in an example of their home so they understand how big a print is compared to the wall they want to hang it on. The tools she's got are invaluable. Well, the testimonials I'm jealous of. You are able to help people raise their sales so abruptly. I just love talking about this concept. So welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Great.
Awesome.
So glad to be here.
So let's jump right in. Tell us
Okay.
what so you did some photography and then you do awesome design work and you started selling these wall templates as well. How'd that happen?
Right. So it was really it was a friend who was moving from New York to San Francisco to start a children's clothing boutique.
Yep.
And she had the name of it was Tractors and Tiaras, and she was like, let's do a photo shoot. And I went to I did this awesome shoot. I found a tractor, brought my son and her daughter. We did this really cool shoot. And then I presented the images to her and she loved them and that was great. And she's like, okay, so now what do I order for the store walls? And I was like, I don't know. How big are they? Like, okay. So, and then I mocked up the size in Photoshop, and then I'm putting little rectangles. And I had never designed a wall display before, and it took me days. It took me so long just to figure out, okay, what are the standard sizes that would look good together? And then I, inserted my images in these clipping masks, and then I realized how difficult, how exacting it was just to get the right combination of images, not even just the right combination of images, but also the right crops.
Yep.
And it just hit me if I had left that up to the client, there's no way if I had given her a disk of images that she would have ever figured out a wall display.
No, nope, not at all.
And so, and that was just kind of the light bulb moment for me, that it was wow, if we're expecting our clients to run with this, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
We have to show them what they want.
Totally.
And that's the way to make those sales. And so I created the Photographer's Wall Display Guides have a series of different room images that you can overlay designs on to put in your client galleries for in-person sales, for marketing. There's tons of uses for them, but It just gives your clients something and it doesn't have to be the exact thing that they end up ordering, just to give them that idea of what different sizes look like. And then maybe, you work up an idea, even if you do online sales, put it at the end of their online gallery and get them really excited about what they can do with these images. Get them realizing that this is the perfect artwork for their home.
Totally.
And
I think there's so many pieces here we can pull apart. So the first thing is just seeing it. We all go to a store, we buy a thing, and we bring it home to our house, and we're like, this doesn't fit. This doesn't work. This looks bad. This doesn't coordinate. This But when we don't know what 8x10 looks like. Especially your clients, they don't know how big
to them,
8x10
that's
is.
8x10. They do know what to do with an 8x10.
Yeah.
I feel because that's what the picture frame they can buy at Target or whatever.
Right.
They kind of have an idea of what to do with an 8x10. But if you go any bigger, they have no idea.
Right.
And they're intimidated by it. They think that's huge. They think an 11x14 is gigantic until you're wait a minute, look, this is what an 11x14 looks like over your couch. And they're like, oh.
Totally.
Okay, so you're just not doing them a service if you're not helping them use those images to decorate. And really, to me, there's so many different things you can do with images, and I love albums, and but to hang your images on the wall where you can see them every day,
right?
To me, that's the best possible
it is
use of your images, and not to mention marketing.
Right.
When somebody comes into that person's home and this is your target client and sees those gorgeous things, and you can't miss that, that's going to be a conversation starter. So
it is so true. Yeah, we put all this energy and effort, and it's great that we now share these images online and on our phones and all these great places, but there's something to be said for for creating art, for stuff that goes on the wall.
I mean, I have a 30 by 40 canvas that I took with a remote release of my family, and it is, I mean, it makes me happy every single day. And it's probably the only image that I get to like enjoy. I mean, I have other gallery walls and
Right.
stuff, but that, I mean, I get to experience like to see that every day, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. And I want that for my clients.
So true. And so in the pre-show, we were talking about last week's blog post. I posted. I talked to the Rogers of Edenhurst Studio, and they did this gorgeous marketing piece that showcased the pictures in people's homes. And
Yes.
some of them were, I think, but a lot of them in this piece were actually created using the Shoot and Sell app, where you can use built-in like background templates you have, because
Yep.
while it is awesome if you have that step to take in somebody's actual wall, their actual
Right.
couch, actual dimensions, that's
Yeah.
awesome. If you
And that's
don't,
awesome for in-person sales.
yeah,
But
totally,
rarely is it awesome for marketing pieces.
yes,
Because like honestly, if you show like their actual room versus one of my rooms, like you got the crumpled couch cushions and like it doesn't look quite as good. Like it's great for showing them what they're gonna get
right,
in person. But if you want to do a marketing piece, like you want to use a beautiful stock room image, like one of the ones in my wall guides.
perfect.
Yeah.
And so that concept, you got check out that video, guys. I think it's great.
Oh, and I just want to clarify, I think they're actually using my Photoshop wall guides, not the app. But you could do the same thing in the app, but I just want to make
good
that
to know. Good to know. Awesome.
Yeah.
Where the point I make is, I think so often they really were stressed about the digital conversation, where people
Yeah.
just want digitals. They just always want, and so there's a lot of things they've done building up their brand, so where that doesn't happen as much anymore.
Yeah.
And one of the things you can do is showcase what you deliver in your marketing pieces. So instead of just, yes, they've got the great artwork or the great images
Yeah.
that they can take, and that's a lot of times that's all we have on our blogs. But when
Yeah.
you start posting,
Yeah.
do your top 3 selects from the shoot, and then if you have a great image of their home or a great image
Stock image.
of what you've delivered,
Yeah.
that's going to trigger like what you're going to attract the client that you want when they say.
And I have to,
Go ahead.
after the show, I had to share with you one of my customers, Samantha Ireland, her website.
Yeah.
She literally does a slideshow where she shows the image and then she fades to the image on one of my wall backgrounds.
Perfect.
And it's amazing. I mean, you wouldn't even believe the impact it has. And it's so cool because, and then she, right on her homepage, is talking about, how she believes that, that the images from your session don't belong on a disc in the drawer. They belong on your walls, and that she creates art, it's like art, or the people you love is the perfect image, the perfect art for the home you love. Like she just frames it in this like amazing way right from the beginning, and that's that's the power. That's what you can do for your
We'll
client.
link to that on this blog post below, guys. I
it's
think
fantastic.
that's awesome. That's
And
so
there's so
cool.
much you can do with that. Like it really sets you apart from your competition to really, because you are providing an extra service to your client. You're offering to design their home. It's like a service that they're not going to get from a shoot and burn person.
It's so true.
This is a customer service.
And it just takes time. There's a lot of people. What I've learned is, as our lives get so busy, yes, they're going to have a chunk of your clients that are so well intentioned that another chunk of them that could probably do it just fine, but they don't have the time. And so it's yes, I've always wanted to do this, and then they start, and it's so there's so much indecision, and
well, it's like the people that never get the album from their wedding, like me, You have the best intentions. Oh, I'm going to make my own album. It's going to be awesome. And like, how many of us don't have that album,
Yeah, it's something I'll do tomorrow, and it just always is tomorrow. It never comes.
And they don't have the tools. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm the type of person, that's probably why I, went down the path of creating the products that I do. Like, I need to see it. So my husband is an illustrator. I've always been into photography, so I've always known how to use Photoshop. So like when we were renovating our homes, like we used Photoshop for everything to like mock everything up. Like he would draw stuff, like, the picket fence, like everything we wanted. I was like, I have to see it in Photoshop first. Like I just can't commit until I see it.
Yeah.
And so there's something, the client isn't going to have the tools like Shoot and Sell or Photographer's Wall Display Guides to really be able to see it. And once you see it, making that commitment is like, there's no leap there. There's no guesswork.
That's what I
You know,
want. This is what I want. Yeah.
yeah, and not even to mention, like, if you're trying to sell a wall display to your client without having them proof it first,
Hmm.
like without showing them something to sign off on, like those displays are expensive. Like even
Right.
our cost of goods for those is quite expensive. So if you have to reprint that, you want to make sure you get some sign off. And I mean, you
Exactly.
can use the app just for, you do the design, you get them to want it, they buy it, they sign off on it. Like there's so many different pieces to that. I can't even imagine how you would be selling wall art without a tool like that.
Right, without making sure that it's going to fit.
Yeah.
What it gets back and they're like, oh, this doesn't fit in the room. And
Right.
worst case scenario, they don't tell you and they're unhappy,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
now they've seen it. That's awesome. So
And there's
I want to geek out about a side topic and see
Yeah.
if it might spark some creativity. So here's something, I don't know how this will play out. But so anyway, I've done a portrait photography for a while, and I was noticing how I wasn't taking a lot of pictures of with my DSLR of my kids growing up. So many, and as the phone camera gets better and better, a lot
Sure.
of the best snaps were just on my phone and on Instagram.
Yeah.
And while I would never blow those up big, I took 30 of my favorites and I printed them on 4-inch metal squares.
Yeah.
They looked pretty good. And so I go to this wall and like, how am I going to put this on the wall? I start like measuring, getting cardboard stencils, and like, this is gonna just I can start here, but it's gonna look stupid over there. And so
Yeah.
then I took a picture of the wall, and I brought it into Photoshop, and I start mocking it up with
Yep.
squares. And then because there was 30 of them, I'm like, okay, so now I know it's gonna lay out. I had this like cool light bulb moment. I went and grabbed my projector, and not many people have a projector. I
Yeah.
think there's gonna be like cheaper ones that you can grab that will work.
Yeah.
So I projected that image onto the wall, and I just was able to plug these 30 squares exactly where I wanted them laid out around our piano window and the wall.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe someday when
Yeah.
like if a photographer had, what a cool add-on service, right? If you
Yeah.
if you're putting together like, I think it really would matter once you're up to like probably 4 or 5, 6, 7 frames you're hanging.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be cool to have that projected onto the wall in scale.
Yeah. You mean like as a hanging guide almost?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, speaking of hanging guides, I have to give a little plug for my favorite lab, H&H, because they actually include a hanging guide for all of their pre-made wall displays, and I think that's like the coolest customer service because it makes us look good, right? We're like, okay, here's your, the grouping you ordered, and then also here's a hanging guide,
And so they just print a hanging guide on like a.
They send it with the canvases.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's easier than projecting stuff then.
Yeah, probably.
Sometimes analog is better. But if they've done it already, they've already got those things done. That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right.
All right, so now we just got my family portraits done, and I was using the tool. Tell us some of your favorite features. I was noticing how easy it is that picture, you make a guess, you grab a set of templates,
Right.
and you're like, okay, well, no, that's not quite big enough. And now I can just pinch and spread and increase or decrease the size.
So I mean, just to be able to insert an image, and you've got your room background, right? Whether it's stock or it's your own room, and just to be able to use taking advantage of the iPad touch gestures, just to grow that image. And not only so, I mean, it's just so simple because you just stop when you find the right size, like it, you just see it and you're like, okay. And then I have one of the features is you can turn on or off image size labels, so you can like just turn on the image size label, see what size that image is. That's probably one of the best features. It's just so flexible, and you can also it comes with, I think, I should know this, but like 40 or so different standard image sizes, but you can add your own, and you can add them in centimeters and inches, so it's like really unlimited in terms of what you can which sizes you're using. So that's a great feature. There's so many features I love. I mean, I'm coming out with a new version, so there's like a lot of new features that I'm really excited about. But
tell us about that, because tell us what's coming.
I just want going back to one that's actually been there all along with it, which I think kind of sets it apart from some of the competition in terms of features, is that you can create projects and save complete projects, which I think is so awesome, because that's one of the things I'm a big proponent of, is like being prepared for your in-person ordering session. Like, I'd like to have a few ideas worked out already. because it does take some time and of playing around with different images. You don't necessarily want your client. To be sitting there while you're like, So
Yeah,
I
right.
work up like 3 or 4 different ideas, and
Yep.
then I can save it as a complete project, can open up, start doing something else. And then when I'm with my client, I show them that particular project, and we can then customize it.
Awesome.
So based on their favorites from from the viewing session, I can then be like, okay, well, this wasn't your favorite, so let's, change it up, or depending on what they are asking for. So
Yeah.
I love that feature.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And there's just little things like, there's a lot of small usability. I'm kind of like like a perfectionist, so I
Yep.
added a lot of little things that I wanted, just, so you can watermark,
Yep.
because there's so many sharing features right from within the app, and because we have the stockroom images, you can use them for. Sorry about that.
No worries.
You can use them for sales and marketing, and so you can if you're gonna publish right to Facebook, you can actually post right to your Facebook page. It's not even your personal account. You can actually post to any page you administer, so your photography page. So I added a watermarking feature, because if you're gonna do it right from within the app, you don't have to bring it into Photoshop, add your watermark, whatever. So I think
That's that's
yeah.
awesome.
So just little things like that. There's a 10 level undo. So like if you replace an image and then you realize, you know what, actually I don't like that one better, you can just undo, which I think is really cool. So there's a lot of like little usability features like that kind of set it apart. But
That's awesome.
in terms of the new version,
you got to have a tablet, right? It doesn't make sense to really do it on a phone, does
yeah,
it?
people have asked me like, oh, can you do it from my phone? And no, because the spreading and pinching,
Yeah.
like if it was like a 5x7, like you wouldn't even be able to
Yeah.
do that. So yes, it's tablet right now. It's the iPad version, but literally like next week, or depending on when your audience is watching this right now,
Yep.
there is going to be an Android version available in both Google Play and I'm really excited about in the Amazon Kindle store. So, or is that what they call it?
Yeah, you rock.
Yeah.
That's
So
huge.
so the point of entry is going to be so low, because you can really just get, I mean, Kindles are what, like you can get the 7-inch ones for like 130 or
Right,
something.
right,
So
right.
yeah. So the point of entry is just really low
That's
with
awesome.
that. And I love my Kindle. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of I love my iPad. That's my friend. But I had to buy some Android devices to be able to test my app. So first I got a Google Nexus, and then I got the Kindle just because it's a different store. I had to get that one also, and I actually quite like the Kindle. So
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I got Kindles for Christmas presents last year. My family loves their Kindles. I
Yeah.
thought, like, and it's funny, each parent like uses them for a different reason. Like one just does one little thing and they love it for just that thing. And
Yeah, no, it's definitely got a great interface. Like, it's very user friendly. I mean, Amazon, I mean, believe me, they know customer service, they know user friendly.
right,
So
exactly.
yeah, so
Awesome.
yeah, that's coming out next week, and it's so that's really exciting. I've had so many people asking for that for so long.
So I want to speak to the price point. So what does it cost in the App Store?
So
In both?
it's yeah. So the regular price is $79.99.
Yep.
I will be running a sort of introductory special for both the version 2 of the iOS
Awesome.
and the
Android
and
stores.
the Android version
Awesome.
when it comes out. So yeah.
Cool. Either
So-
way, so this is I'm going to go off on just a rant about how frustrating it is as a business person to have to sell something in the App Store, where
Yeah.
$80 is a steal for how, like, you will make
Right.
up this investment the first
Oh, yeah.
time you use it. Done.
Yeah.
But because the App Store,
Because-
because there's so much free, we compare everything. Like,
$1.
think about how quickly you spend $80 in your business. But all of a sudden you're in the App Store, you're like, everything's free,
Well, like how
$2.
much do you spend on an action in Photoshop?
Exactly.
Just to give you your images a certain look. Which, don't get me wrong, like I use mostly I use my own actions, but I've used other people's actions. But is
Yep.
that going to make you money necessarily? No,
Totally.
But it's like, because it's in the App Store. No, believe me, I got some rude comments on my Facebook page when I first released it. Like, $80? Are you crazy? I'm like, it's a sales tool. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it's for your iPad. If you want to buy the Photoshop version, you can, feel free if you feel like that's a better investment. It does the same thing. I mean, not in the same way, because the touch interface and the iPad's different, but
Right.
the end result, it does the same thing. So,
There you go.
but people,
you've got options.
people have this idea that because it's an app, it should be cheap or free, which,
That's so
I'm glad.
hard.
I think that there's starting to be more professional tools that are being, charged more what they're worth. I mean,
Yep.
so
And
that's what I say on my website. It's under FAQ. So it's like, don't you think that's expensive for a mere app? I'm like, if if that's how you want to look at it, but it's a sales tool,
Yeah.
no matter how it's delivered, no matter what the platform, it's pure and simple. It's a sales tool. Is it worth $80 to you to be able to upsell
Totally.
your
And
product?
I found that the Apple, or even it doesn't matter which app store, the app store ecosystem's evolving. Early on, it was all about free. Just get to market, get people using your stuff.
Right.
And for a long time, that's all I would download. I was just like, oh, where's the free version? Where's the free? And then I started to notice the quality of these things start to come down a little bit.
Right.
And now the apps that I use every day or on a routine basis, they're the paid apps that are $4, $5, $10, $20, $70 because those are the apps that are actually getting used and actually getting improved and developed for. And
that's the thing is people think that the app market is such a gold mine and like, oh, $80 you must be making a killing. It's like, do you have any idea how expensive it is to develop an app? Like, I wish I was a coder, but I am not. Like, I pay developers.
And even if you were a coder, it's like it takes time. It takes so much time to develop.
And the other thing is too, when I release updates, they're free. So I'm just adding like all these crazy, like huge amount of new features that I've been developing for like 6 months.
Right.
And it's free for everybody. When they get the update, it's free.
That's awesome.
So really, like, you're relying on new sales to pay for the new improvements.
Exactly.
And all the good apps are like always improving. So
they are. Like there's one of the apps I use that it's so much work to keep updating. It's just the price of being in business. I get that. But you and I before the call were talking about how just moving to iOS 7 caused a lot of changes for both of our businesses, and that's built in. That costs so much of our time and energy. There's some companies that you can't use the old version of the app anymore. They released they called it like number 2. So you had to re-buy the app to support iOS 7, which I was like, as a consumer, I was like, well, okay, guys, come on. But as a business owner, I was like, I totally understand why they had to sell it again, because they had to start from scratch for some of these people and start all over.
It was a huge change. Yeah. And for me, like I was saying, it was a little more complicated because I'm already working on this new version with all these new features. So I had to bundle in all the iOS 7 bug changes. So if you're listening to this and you had any bugs in Shoot and Sell, they're going to be fixed in a couple days when we release the new version.
So it should be done already when this is posted. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so that's enough of us venting. So all that to say, think about whenever you're investing in tools in your business, just be conscious of the ROI. And
absolutely.
A lot of us are working out of our homes. A lot of us don't have studios. And I think this is one more tool in your arsenal you just can't afford not to have. Where even if you're meeting in a coffee shop and you're showing them, I really recommend like having samples of a canvas, samples of an acrylic, all the products you want to sell, letting people touch them. That's one step. But to really seal the deal, now they can touch them here, and then you can show them pictures of their home or of mock-ups of what those will look like. Just taking it all the way to the finish line and to have really satisfied customers.
Oh yeah, and if you go to my website, you'll read the testimonials. It's
incredible.
It's like 3 times. You've doubled, tripled my sales, and that. Those things make my day, but I know that's happening for everybody pretty much. You can't, if you use the tool, it's pretty much like you can't not make money when you're
right. Totally.
So it's definitely a good investment.
Check it out, guys. You got it. Even if you don't have a tablet, check out her Photoshop templates. They're killer. You guys, it's a no-brainer if you aren't using these tools yet in your marketing and in your sales.
Yeah.
You'll pay for it the first time.
I just want to say, just to tie it into sticky albums, which I just started using and love, by the way.
Awesome.
And we're going to talk about that too. But I know that your suggested image size is 1600 pixels on the long side, right? Mm-hmm. So for Shoot and Sell, I have a free resources page, which you can go to shootandsellapp.com/resources. And one of the downloads is a Lightroom export template that exports your images. And it's 1,000 pixels on the short side, which is almost exactly 1,600 pixels on the long side.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that if you're using sticky albums and Shoot and Sell, you can pretty much use the same workflow. Like you can resize your images once and use it in both places.
Right out of Lightroom. Kick ass.
Yeah. Cool,
right? Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Sure.
People have asked for that. Now I'll just use the one you've created. Awesome.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You guys check out the links below. Let us know what you think. I want to hear how this is impacting your sales. I've read through the testimonials myself. I know firsthand this is going to increase your sales. So check it out. Ariana, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All
Thanks for
right.
having me.
Bye-bye.